Utah children's health care has fallen behind, and the pandemic is to blame.
Many of our families kind of paused their well childs last year.
The message to parents and what health risks are there if our kids don't catch up.
We're going from wet to warm to hot on a nice warming trend. How hot do temperatures get? I'll let you know in the forecast.
Bells Canyon is getting a brand new trailhead. You can see that construction going on. Why it's going to be important to the entire community, even for the people who aren't in it for the views.
Salt Lake City's planning to close Main Street this summer to traffic, and it might be permanent.
The person that did this had to climb a fence. This was deliberate.
Another disturbing discovery in Moab.
It's making the locals becoming fairly resentful.
The destruction that leaders say is going beyond ancient petroglyphs.
Live from Utah's news leader, Fox 13's Live at 5 starts right now.
With more people getting vaccinated, the CDC is changing its guidelines when it comes to wearing masks outside. Thanks for joining us. I'm Bob Evans.
And I'm Kelly Chapman. President Joe Biden announced the easing of the guidelines this afternoon. The CDC now says it is safe for fully vaccinated people to be outdoors and indoors in small gatherings without a mask, as long as others are fully vaccinated as well. It's also okay to dine outdoors without a mask. The CDC cautions those only partially or not vaccinated at all to still wear a mask around others.
If you're in a crowd, like a stadium or at a conference or a concert, you still need to wear a mask.
The CDC will continue to update its guidance as COVID-19 cases continue to decline. About 1/3 of Utah's children are behind on routine vaccinations and checkups because of the pandemic.
And today, doctors talked to Fox 13's Haley Higgins about the risks.
During the earliest months of the pandemic, hospitals and doctors asked parents to put off childhood wellness checks and vaccines. Now, it's time to come back.
Because many of our families kind of paused their well childs last year because of concerns around exposure to COVID.
The American Academy of Pediatrics reports a significant drop in doctor visits, resulting in delays of childhood vaccines and screenings. Dr. Donna Barhorse with Intermountain Health is concerned it could result in secondary outbreaks with vaccine-preventable illnesses.
It really is important that we vaccinate our kids, because we have been able to eliminate many of these childhood diseases. But if we stop vaccinating, they will resurge.
Dr. Barhorse expects children 12 and over to be eligible for the COVID-19 vaccine by this summer. But that can't happen until your child is up to date on other immunizations.
Use this window of opportunity to, to kind of catch up if your child has not been seen in the last year.
In Salt Lake City, Haley Higgins, Fox 13 News, Utah.
As of today, more than 1.6 million Utahns have been given at least one dose of the coronavirus vaccine, and more than 891,000 people are considered fully vaccinated here in the Beehive State. Nearly 20,000 doses were administered in Utah in the past 24 hours.
Well, this is a first. Today, the very first day, the Weber Morgan Health Department offered vaccines to walk-in patients. There was a steady stream of people getting their shots today at the D Event Center in Ogden. The health department has seen a surplus of doses. They do want to make sure everyone has the chance to receive a vaccine.
We're just starting to notice there's a little bit of vacancy. And we just want to get people in, make it as easy for them as they can.
And it was convenient. Today's walk-in clinic was a trial run. They say it was a big success and hope to hold more in the future. Keep an eye on the Weber Morgan Health Department social media pages for any updates. And by the way, you can still make a vaccine appointment if you prefer. We do have links to all of this on our website, fox13now.com.
Today, Utah saw another 327 new cases of COVID-19. 3 more Utahns have died. 2 men older than 85, 1 woman younger than 45. There are 137 people currently hospitalized due to the virus. 60 COVID patients are currently in intensive care.
Much better today in the weather department. We have some clearing. We could use a little bit more sunshine. Take a look at the geese here on this pond in Bountiful. Not too bad. I think we're on our way up. Meteorologist Brett Bolton is in the First Alert Weather Center.
We're on our way up, but we're still hanging on to some clouds, even in some locations seeing some showers isolated thunderstorms. We go down towards southern Utah, St. George. Yes, partly sunny skies. I don't see much of a risk for any showers in that region. You move further eastward, though. Definitely seeing that chance here as we move through the rest of the evening. Turning towards extreme northern Utah, up in Cache Valley, mostly cloudy skies, pockets of some showers, mainly over the canyons. Yeah, the storm trying to let go. We've seen some improvements temperature-wise, where along the Wasatch Front, even though afternoon highs below normal, definitely quite a bit warmer than yesterday. As yesterday we were in the 40s. Today it's 50s, currently 58 degrees in Brigham City, 51 in Provo, where we're seeing some cooler temperatures, clouds and showers. Definitely noticing temperatures quite a bit colder in contrast to yesterday. Yesterday the front was moving through northern western Utah, so we've seen some improvements on the thermometer there. Eastern Utah, it's a colder day, but statewide we're definitely on a warming trend. However, we've got a chance of some scattered showers as we look towards eastern, south central Utah, impacting areas such as Zion, Bryce Canyon, over towards Escalante, up through Moab, where that region, again, you can see maybe pockets of isolated thunderstorms, as we might even see up in the higher terrain some snow showers as well. We've got wraparound moisture producing some showers from Evanston through Colville. It was spilling over into the Salt Lake Valley, but drier air is moving in, so your hour-by-hour forecast, we're calling for mostly cloudy skies, clearing out, though, as we'll see temperatures. It's going to be a cold night, but as I mentioned, warming up. How warm does it get, and how long do we get a break from the storms? I'll let you know in just a few minutes.
All right, you piqued our interest, Breck. See you soon. One of the most popular hiking trails along the Wasatch Front is getting a multi-million-dollar upgrade.
Sydney Glenn joins us live to show us how the Bells Canyon's new trailhead is offering more than just a place for hikers to park. Sydney.
Bob and Kelly, soon instead of all of this construction that you're seeing out here going on, there'll be new parking spots, there's going to be a picnic area, and even a helipad. But this area is going to be providing a lot more than just a place for hikers to enjoy. It's a local favorite, the Bells Canyon hike.
Your mind opens up and it just revives you.
Now this space is getting its own revival. The Sandy City Parks and Rec director says the new Bells Canyon Preservation Trailhead is expected to open late this summer.
It's helping with traffic. It's helping with the fire department in their efforts with incidences that happen in the area. It's preserving an area that otherwise would be developed into houses and reduces the impacts of what the homes would cause up in that area.
Dan Medina says the city bought the land back in 2018 for about $1.7 million. The construction is costing about $5 million, and the cleanup wasn't cheap either.
Close to $100,000 with chemical cleanup, asbestos pipe removal, and oils and other contaminants that were on the site.
Soon you'll see more than 130 parking spots, bathrooms, a picnic area, and a helipad instead of a construction zone. The Sandy City Deputy Fire Chief says all of that is going to help keep people safe.
It will be a potential fire command base and helipad for a helicopter to land. And even do dipping operations out of a portable 6,000-gallon water tank that we can put up there.
The helipad and parking spots will help with search and rescue operations.
They happen, I want to say, weekly during the summer.
And also for forest fighting in more than just Bells Canyon.
There's that whole Dimple Dell Park that follows, the river, goes down right through the heart of Sandy. That will provide an excellent overview and lookout and command post.
Making sure everyone stays safe and this popular trailhead sticks around for years to come. So if you've ever tried to hike over here on maybe a Friday or a Saturday, you know it's difficult to find parking and traffic can kind of get crazy. So this new trailhead with those 131 parking spots is definitely going to help with that. And it's expected to open late summer. Live in Sandy, Sydney Glenn, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Sydney, thank you. By the way, this new trailhead should be open by late July or early August. It's just off South Wasatch Boulevard and East Little Cottonwood Road in Sandy.
Coming up, a fourth Utahn has been arrested for their alleged role in the Capitol insurrection. What we're learning about the suspect.
And we'll show you how one nonprofit in Summit County is prioritizing mental health and rewarding people who do so. A fourth Utahn is now facing charges for taking part in the deadly riots at the U.S. Capitol on January 6th.
Willard Jake Pert of Tokerville is scheduled to appear before the U.S. District Court in Washington, D.C. tomorrow. A criminal complaint filed by the Justice Department says Pert admitted to FBI agents that he walked over to and then entered the Capitol after President Donald Trump's rally. The complaint says Pert did not participate in the destruction of the U.S. Capitol building and did not assault any member of law enforcement.
Federal authorities have launched an investigation into the deputy-involved shooting of Andrew Brown Jr. in North Carolina last week. While the state has not yet released autopsy results, the family is revealing what was found in an independent autopsy. They say Brown was shot 5 times, including once in the back of the head.
That is the fatal bullet wound that was described in the death certificate as a penetrating bullet wound to the skull, and that was the cause of death.
The family's lawyers also released a copy of Andrew's death certificate, labeling his death as a homicide. Protesters continue to call for the public release of police body camera video from the incident.
An attorney is seeking a pardon for the arrest of George Floyd in Houston, Texas back in 2004 for selling $10 worth of drugs. But an attorney says the officer who arrested Floyd back then lied to obtain a warrant to search the home where the drugs were found. If the request is approved, it will be up to the governor to give final approval.
Tomorrow night, President Biden will address a joint session of Congress and the nation. It's set to begin at 7 p.m. and we will carry it live here on Fox 13. Our primetime programming schedule will be delayed because of the president's speech, including the Masked Singer. Then stay tuned for Fox 13 News at 9.
Utah's First Lady is making some big goals over the next 4 years. Up next, what she wants to do to help make Utah a better place.
So 2 statements for you. 1, Utah's population growth slowed way down. 2, we were the fastest growing state in the nation in the latest census numbers. Can both be true? We'll show you.
In Utah County today, Utah First Lady Abby Cox outlined her initiatives for the next 4 years. Her plan is called Show Up Utah. It focuses on helping troubled children and foster families with an emphasis on compassion and empathy. Mrs. Cox says she wants it to be something meaningful. She realizes some people will call it naive, but frankly, she doesn't care.
Well, we're going to give it a shot. Shoot for the moon. And I don't think it's naive. I think people are actually craving it right now. I think people are tired of the contempt and the vitriol. And frankly, I think it's damaging ourselves, but especially our children. And I think there's a better way to do it.
For more information on the First Lady's initiatives, go to fox13now.com.
May next month is Mental Health Awareness Month, and the nonprofit group Connect Summit County is launching a 21-day mental health awareness challenge to help normalize talking about these issues. The National Association for Mental Illness says 1 in 5 Utahns will experience mental illness sometime in their lifetime. That is based on research before the pandemic. Connect Summit County says it is so important to destigmatize people's struggles.
If you're not feeling yourself, you're not feeling okay, it's absolutely okay not to be okay, and now more than ever. And so I think it's really important that people really share their stories and they reach out for help.
The 21-day mental health challenge starts May 1st, but registration is open right now. Once a person signs up, they can check off boxes as they complete each challenge. Then throughout the month, Connect Summit County will give away 7 prizes to people participating. If you would like to sign up, go to fox13now.com. It's also National Work Zone Awareness Week.
UDOT is reminding drivers to stay alert around construction zones. There are currently 185 projects planned or under construction right now in Utah. Crews are seeing more people walking, running, riding bikes, and even playing in construction areas. UDOT says those activities are putting everyone at risk.
This can be a very hazardous place. Heavy equipment, trucks that are really big and don't look like they move fast, but they do. Trenches, uneven ground, a lot of safety concerns if you're just moseying through here.
UDOT warns everyone to stay away from construction zones and construction equipment and never go beyond construction barriers.
Good tips. Lots of construction as our state is growing. In fact, in the last 10 years, Utah has gained 500,000 residents. The Beehive State has grown faster than any other state in the entire nation.
The new census numbers tell a story about how the country and Utah have changed. Max Roth joins us in studio with a look. Max.
Yeah, and some of these things seem contradictory. You know, this week we got big picture numbers, overall population in the country and in the states. The big headline, Utah's population growth slowed significantly, but we're the fastest growing state.
The 2010 census showed Utah grew nearly 24% over 2000. Nevada and Arizona grew faster then. In 2020, Utah's growth slowed to 18.4%, but that's still topped the rest. 3.27 million people is 507,000 more than the 2010 census counted. In other words, the population of about 2.5 Salt Lake cities moved into the state or was born over 10 years. The census also wants to show how crowded states are compared to each other. Utah is the 42nd least dense state, about 40 people per square mile. But in arid Utah, we huddle around water. 3/4 of us live in 4 counties on the Wasatch Front. And if those counties were a state, it would be the 6th most crowded in the country. On the political side of things, we still have just 4 representatives in Congress, each one of them representing 819,000 people now. The national average is 761,000 per district. So we must be really close to that 5th representative, right? Nope. Crunching the numbers, we found that New York was ahead of us, and Ohio, Texas, Florida, Arizona, California, Virginia, Idaho, Michigan, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, Georgia, Washington, Illinois, and West Virginia. We're lucky number 17.
Okay, so those are the big picture numbers. It will be mid-August when the nitty-gritty stuff comes in. How many people are in counties, cities, and even neighborhoods, and their genders, race, ethnicity. That's what's going to be used to draw new political maps. Live in studio, Max Roth, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Interesting information. I always think about, what about the water usage? Of course, moving ahead, especially a year like this, under a drought situation, we know our water needs are great. And we could use the moisture we got it from yesterday's storm, which is still producing some showers here across northern Utah. View from our Intermountain camera looking east towards the Wasatch Mountains. A few isolated showers from Holiday down through Draper. They'll be moving on as we'll be letting go of this storm finally, but it's still having a push across eastern Utah this hour. Temperatures today, well, a bit on the cool side, below normal, warmer than yesterday, and we're definitely going to be on a warming trend as we look ahead with just a few isolated showers. Big focus across southern eastern Utah just for tonight, but statewide, we're under a warm trend or moving towards a warm trend and drying things out. Friday and Saturday, HDOY, we call that the Hadoy, or the hottest day of the year. Yeah, we're going to be finding temperatures feeling more summer-like as we transition into the weekend. No current watches and warnings in effect. We show you the satellite situation and radar. Again, turning towards southern Utah, we are seeing some isolated showers at Zion towards Kanab, Bryce Canyon, Escalante, moving a little bit further northeast towards Moab. Definitely, you maybe even see an isolated thunderstorm here and there. Northeastern Utah, areas of showers mainly over the higher terrain. Most of the Wasatch Front, it's dry, but we get this wraparound moisture providing for some wet roads as you move from Evanston towards Colville, even maybe a shower in Park City. Again, it could spill over briefly along the east bench, but again, this is moving on as high pressure is building in. It's a ridge of high pressure, strong high pressure, which will keep the storms away and again allow for that temperature climb. Let's take a look at our computer models though. Get you ready for the next 12 hours tonight through tomorrow. Again, this storm moving off towards the east. We're finding some severe weather as we're turning towards Colorado. We squeeze out the moisture, we get rid of the clouds. Tomorrow is nothing but sunny skies as temperatures look to warm up, getting close to where we should be for this time of year. It's going to be a cold night though. As we do clear skies out, temperatures will be dropping dropping into the 30s and 40s along the Wasatch Front. Low 30s through central Utah, upper 40s in St. George. Again, eastern Utah will hold on to the threat of showers up until about midnight. Tomorrow, we get the sunshine. Winds will be calm. A nice day. Again, highs close to where they should be for this time of year. We should be in the mid to upper 60s. That's where we'll find ourselves here along the Wasatch Front. Upper 60s as we turn towards Vernal and Price. 70s in Moab. How about expected high in Cedar City? 65 degrees. 78 in St. George. And I mentioned these hot temperatures coming into play. Look how quick we climb. 70s to upper 80s to low 90s to mid 90s on Saturday. Yeah, hottest day of the year. Definitely the hottest day of the week. And then we have a little cool front that's going to push through Sunday through Monday. It will drop temperatures, nothing of great significance, actually more in line where we should be for this time of year. But for the next 7 days, looks to be dry. Northern Utah, pleasant 60s, nice 70s on Thursday. That's my temperature range of preference. Low to mid 70s, that's where we're at Thursday. We push past it, though, into the 80s on Friday, warmest day of the year. Low 80s, even Saturday with some clouds. Cool front moves through, slight chance of a rain shower. We drop temperatures down into the 60s on Monday into Tuesday, but it's a weak storm as we'll get back to where we should be. But until then, we get that summer heat for Friday and Saturday.
It's making the locals becoming fairly resentful of our tourists.
More ancient artwork in Grand County is being vandalized. See the measures being taken to put a stop to it.
A new push to kick cars off Main Street.
Their biggest goal every single day as a company is to give back to the community.
And see how one local coffee company and a gun store in Orem are saying thank you to the people who fought for our freedom.
Federal contractors will need to pay their employees at least $15 an hour starting next year.
Bob, this is part of a new executive order issued by President Joe Biden. The current minimum wage for these workers is $10.95 an hour. The executive order affects cleaning professionals, nursing assistants who care for veterans, also food service workers on federal contracts. The Biden administration says it does not expect taxes to go up, saying the wage hike will increase productivity, which will cut down on recruitment and training costs.
Amazon will be making more deliveries right into people's garages. It's offering in-garage delivery to every city where it makes grocery deliveries in 5,000 U.S. cities, including Salt Lake City. Customers need to use Amazon's Key by Delivery service, which requires you to set up the technology to make that happen.
Well, how about this? Customers will soon be able to buy RVs from Camping World using Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies starting later this summer. Camping World will accept cryptocurrency at all of its locations that sell RVs and on its e-commerce platforms. Camping World has 3 locations in Utah. They're in Draper, Kaysville, and St. George. So get your cryptocurrency ready.
Yeah. U.S. stocks edged away from record territory today as investors sold shares of technology and communication stocks, and Treasury yields climbed. The Dow barely budged, adding only 3 points to close at 33,985. The Nasdaq dropped 49, and the S&P was flat.
Still to come in our next half hour, ancient petroglyphs in Moab now have vulgar graffiti, the offensive message that vandals wrote, and what county leaders want done.
Does the night setting on your smartphone actually help you go to sleep? Why, one BYU professor says no.
And it could be a game changer for restaurants along Salt Lake City's Main Street. We'll explain what's in the works in a Fox 13 News exclusive. Glad you're with us tonight, everyone. A Moab tour guide recently made a terrible discovery of more vandalism at a petroglyph site in Grand County.
As Fox 13's Spencer Joseph reports, Grand County commissioners are furious at the increase of vandalism and want something done about it.
The person that did this had to climb a fence. This was deliberate.
Yeah, there needs to be some sort of form of punishment that'll cause people to stop doing it.
For the second time in a month, 1,000-year-old petroglyphs in the Moab area have been vandalized.
It's called the Birthing Rock. It's right off the side of the trail.
This is Dustin Foray, a tour guide in Moab who found the vandalism on one of his tours.
I started looking at it, like, I was telling my customers, I'm like, these lines were not here as we're walking up to it. And I'm still looking at the lines, and they're like, oh, there's more. And I'm like, are you serious?
These are the pictures he took showing phallic objects and misspelled racial slurs on the 1,000-year-old artifact.
Furious with that in particular. That was kind of the icing on the cake.
The Birthing Rock is a special place for Mary McGann, chair of the Grand County Commission. She says these problems are getting worse.
It's increasing with the more people that are coming to Moab. It's making the locals becoming fairly resentful of our tourists.
And Foray has seen it too.
It's not the first time I've seen it, so it definitely angered me. It's super frustrating.
But it's not just ancient artifacts. Moab is also seeing an issue with so many going off the roads and ruining delicate desert ecosystems.
The desert does not heal. It's more fragile. It looks less fragile, but it's much more fragile.
And while this rock looks like it may not be permanently damaged, it looks like the problems are here to stay.
Hopefully we don't have to lock everything up and put it in a museum in order to see it. I hope we can still see it out in the real world. Really, I just hope it stops.
Spencer Joseph, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Grand County and the Bureau of Land Management are offering a reward for information leading to the arrest of those who did it. The details of the reward have not been released, but will shortly be posted to the Utah BLM Facebook page. Ultimately, Grand County Chair Mary McGann says they need the public's help when things like this happen.
There's just not enough manpower in the Grand County Sheriff's Office or the BLM's law enforcement to get a handle on this. It's going to take a group effort.
Sure is. BLM and the Grand County Sheriff's Office want to remind everyone that climbing on, defacing, or even touching petroglyph sites is against the law.
Earlier this month, another petroglyph site called the Sunshine Wall was also vandalized with climbing bolts. Fox 13 News spoke with Darren Ray, the person who discovered this vandalism. Ray removed the climbing bolts, but the damage is permanent. The person who did this has come forward and apologized for his mistake.
Utah Senator Mitt Romney has opposed the Biden administration's withdrawal of all Americans from Afghanistan. He believes there should be a small number of troops left there. Today, he asked the man in charge of Afghan reconciliation to predict whether there will be peace and stability or an imminent collapse.
Which do you see? And if there's a different forecast, I'm happy to hear that.
Sure. I don't personally believe that there will be an imminent collapse. I know there are others who've had a different view. I believe the choice that the Afghans face is between a negotiated political settlement or a long war.
Senator Romney also asked about Iran, and the representative said while he is always skeptical about its intentions, he says Iran has pledged its support to a peaceful settlement.
The Orem City Council is meeting tonight. One item not on the agenda but expected to come up in the public comments is a proposed development on 1600 North between State Street and 400 West. The plan would build a mix of 47 condominiums and townhomes. Last night, hundreds of residents confronted the developer at a community meeting. They say the development will create a parking nightmare and traffic hazards. Orem's Development Services Director says as it stands now, the development meets the zoning requirements and the city's master plan, which limits high-density developments to the State Street corridor.
This project, I don't think, can be stopped. They're following the ordinances. I know right now the residents are really upset with the traffic study. Well, we're analyzing that traffic study and we found that it has some insufficient data in it. So we have asked the traffic engineer to revise his study.
The developer is responsible for revising the traffic study and presenting it to the Planning Commission. The city is looking at traffic calming solutions for 400 West. Tonight's Orem City Council meeting starts virtually at 6 p.m.
The Utah Division of Wildlife Resources says koi have infested nearly all community fisheries in the St. George area. The St. George News reports the biggest problems are at the Baker and Ivins reservoirs. DWR says the koi eat native species, which the agency is trying to protect. The state says the problem will continue until people stop dumping unwanted koi fish in the wild.
Well, the weather is getting better and better for fishing or anything else that you want to do outdoors, Breck.
Absolutely. Looking ahead, anything that you do have planned to be outdoors, you'll get that opportunity, but there might be some points be too hot to be outside. You're going to need the sunscreen for sure. Not right now, though. We're still hanging on to some clouds, remnants of yesterday's storm, which is tracking through southern Utah, still providing for some afternoon showers. We'll give you a view near Moab. We're seeing the clouds, rain in pockets, even some isolated thunderstorms, which that'll be the case here moving through the rest of the evening. Oquirrh Mountain camera, we're seeing a break, still clouds banked up near the mountains. They are producing some mountain showers at this hour as temperatures today below normal. But into the 50s yesterday. We didn't climb out of the 40s, so a little warmer. We're right now 53 degrees in Salt Lake City, 51 in Provo. Towards eastern Utah, it's a little bit cooler as we've got those clouds and those scattered showers. Let's take a look, though, as we look at the wind situation where we do not have any wind advisories or warnings in place, but still finding breezy conditions along the Wasatch Front with sustained winds anywhere between 15 to 20 miles per hour, even turning towards west central Utah. Those winds will die off as we're trying to push this moisture away. We've got the clouds in place. We see central and southern Utah. I mentioned the scattered showers. It's like from Kanab, Bryce Canyon, turning over towards Moab. Again, that'll be in place here for the next 2 or 3 hours. And we are seeing a few isolated thunderstorms. Wasatch Front, it's fairly dry, except as you move over to the mountains along I-80 pushing up near Evanston. We're seeing the rain, but drier air trying to move in. So we'll be clearing out the clouds. Temperatures will be dropping, though. It's going to be a chilly night. Starting off tomorrow morning, we're in the low 40s, but looks like the thermometer on the rise. How warm does it get? And how does the weekend look? I'll let you know coming up.
Coming out of the COVID-19 pandemic, downtown Salt Lake City could see a major change to Main Street.
There is discussion right now of closing a huge chunk of Main Street to traffic and then making it a massive pedestrian plaza. Ben Winslow has the story you will only see on Fox 13.
Salt Lake City and the Downtown Alliance tried this last year and it was a hit. They're going to close Main Street all the way to South Temple to traffic, and if it works, they might make it permanent.
Let me say a welcome back to everyone to come downtown.
Main Street will once again be closed to vehicles this summer to bring more people in.
Main Street will be closed to automobile traffic on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights. It'll be a grand pedestrian promenade.
The closure will run from about 4th South to South Temple. Cross traffic can still go across Main. Last year, when COVID-19 cases were at an all-time high, the city closed Main Street to give a boost to downtown businesses and allow people to be more socially distant. They brought in musical acts and let restaurants and bars spread out to the curb. The Downtown Alliance says what it found was about 7,000 people each weekend, and restaurants and bars saw a 30% bump in business.
This is good business for everybody downtown.
It was great to see downtown kind of lively again and people out and about, but still staying safe.
Richard Romney is the general manager of the popular restaurant Takashi, just off Main. He says they also saw an increase in business and are looking at setting up some outdoor options this year.
Any draw to bring people downtown, we're very thankful for.
But if it's a hit, like they expect it will be, the Downtown Alliance is in talks with the city to possibly close down Main Street permanently.
We often joke that if you're driving on Main Street downtown, you're probably not from here. It is not an efficient thoroughfare, but it's a fantastic gathering place.
Mayor Erin Mendenhall says open streets is a great opportunity to re-energize downtown, help people safely socialize, and support local businesses. She suggests she's open to testing out the idea, learning from it, and seeing how it could work in Salt Lake City moving forward.
We think a better use of Main Street is for the pedestrian, for the shopper, for the diner. Cars, let me say, there are thousands of parking spaces downtown, and many of them are adjacent to Main Street. People will find their way.
The Open Streets program will start around Memorial Day and run weekends throughout the summer. In downtown Salt Lake City, Ben Winslow, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Well, you can feel the anticipation already. Downtown Salt Lake is slowly coming back to life. Arts and entertainment venues are starting to reopen. Salt Palace area hotels are at 43% occupancy now, with the first convention returning May 26th. About 25% of downtown office workers are back in their offices downtown, and 154 restaurants and bars are now open.
Change once again.
Yep.
Still to come, new research from BYU suggests night modes on smart devices aren't as effective in helping us go to sleep as we may think. We'll explain why.
When you can't watch Fox 13 News live, watch us streaming online for free on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV. Just search Fox 13 on your device. We're back in 60 seconds. New research by a Brigham Young University psychology professor suggests night mode functions on smart devices that emit a warmer color of light instead of a blue light do not actually help you sleep better. The study found people who were more tired fell asleep right away, regardless of what they did before going to bed. The results also suggest the blue light is not what's causing people to lose sleep.
I think it probably has more to do with things like the cognitive stimulation of scrolling social media, texting your friends.
If your adults are struggling, if young adults are struggling to sleep, researchers suggest reading a book. That's a novel idea. And putting smartphones away. That's even more novel. This makes your brain feel less stimulated and ready to drift off to dreamland.
Thanks, Bob. The pandemic has really taken a toll on everyone, but really has affected women in the workforce. Surveys show women are feeling more burned out than men. 1 in 4 women are now considering leaving the workforce or downshifting their careers. The same survey says employees who work from home put in an extra 48 to 60 minutes a day because the work is always right there if you're at home. That is partly due to no morning commute or evening commute. Ethos Insurance and Holmes Murphy want their employees to know they understand.
They're getting their desks maybe a little bit earlier and not necessarily taking as many breaks as they would because they don't have the casual flybys of an employee just walking down the hall or a coworker walking down the hall and getting to stop in and you taking a break and not looking at your computer screen.
Pam there says people have complained of more aches and pains from working at a kitchen table or sitting on a stool at the counter rather than an ergonomically correct office chair and desk.
Still ahead, some veterans and first responders got a helping hand in Utah County today. We'll explain how you can help them as well.
We'll check in with Real Salt Lake as they get ready for their home opener this Saturday after great road win to start their season. And what do the Jazz need to do to turn things around after losing 2 straight to the lowly Timberwolves? Mike Conley will tell us coming up in sports.
Among the people who need a helping hand as we all recover from the pandemic are those who have fought and protected our freedoms, our veterans.
A Utah County gun store and local coffee company teamed up to give back to those who have served our country. Fox 13 photojournalist Thor Fiedler takes us there.
We're here at Ready Gunner here in Orem, Utah.
This one's got a good amount of caffeine in it.
We're hosting an event here at Ready Gunner for BRCC Gives. Take one each.
Gotta try this.
Yeah.
You know, we got Jay here with BRCC. He just wants to be able to help out.
And grab some sticker packs.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Those are for you.
An organization, nonprofit put together by Black Rifle Coffee.
Here's a cup of coffee.
The whole point of it is, you know, not just for veterans, but it's also for our first responders.
4 stickers in there.
Raising donations and money to help give that back to the community with people that are in financial stress, need help, whether it's their business, personal.
You smell it? Oh, that's how strong it is.
And bring them back to par, especially after all this has been going on with COVID.
It's because of you guys.
Evan Hafer, Matt Best, those guys. I mean, the whole reason their biggest goal every single day as a company is to give back to the community.
Take this.
It's all about helping each other.
To the prison.
Hang out with all the law enforcement and first responders and show our appreciation towards them and their service.
It's goodness.
We want them to know that
Freedom, you know?
that we have their backs, that we support them, and we appreciate all that they do.
Great group of people. Black Rifle Coffee Company is going to several different states to raise money for veterans. They're headed to Tennessee next. Good luck. If you'd like to donate, go to fox13now.com.
Well, as you take it on your weather, getting a review of the storm that hit yesterday, still having an impact across central and southern Utah. This was a photo taken from Gary Walker, just east of Beaver, here throughout the early afternoon. Looks like winter. Oh, this storm, yeah, bringing the rain. It brought the snow, the winds. It's trying to move on, even though we are hanging on to some clouds as we turn towards St. George. Currently 62 degrees, but we're seeing some blue sky. Things beginning to improve, drying out. We'll see that improvement here overnight as high pressure builds in, but we've got the clouds in place, even a few spotty showers here across the Salt Lake Valley. Most of the Wasatch Front, it's dry. Yeah, you look off towards the west, you see that blue sky. You know drier air is moving in, and temperatures will be warming up. It was cool today, though. Only make it up into the 50s here as we look across northern Utah. Now let's look long range. Looking ahead, where are we going temperature-wise? Long range outlook showing that we're going to be looking at above normal temperatures here over the next week to week and a half, and even in some days finding temperatures more summer-like. How about 80s along the Wasatch Front? That's where we're heading. Now, where we're heading precipitation-wise, not good news. Yes, yesterday's storm greatly benefiting the state. We could use about 5 to 10 of those storms to really help us get out of the drought, but long range looks like models showing that we're not going to see much in precipitation. We do have a weak storm that will be rolling through the weekend, late weekend, might produce a brief shower, but it's not a big storm. Again, it's not bringing the moisture to really help us turn a corner, but we're looking at below normal precip here, moving ahead again over the next week to week and a half. However, we are still seeing some shower activity. It's central, south central, southeastern Utah. As we move through the evening, we can see those isolated showers as we go from Bryce Canyon, heading over towards Escalante, moving up Hanksville to Moab, and maybe even seeing an isolated thunderstorm. A little wet weather near Price, turning towards the Uinta Basin as well. We've got this wraparound moisture as producing some showers coming in from along I-80 from Evanston over towards Colville. Could have an impact in areas such as Park City, but it looks like right now it's avoiding the Wasatch Front as that drier air moving through. So this storm pushing away, high pressure building in, and it's a strong ridge of high pressure cranking up the heat. We're warming temperatures up. Yeah, we're looking at some of the warmest temperatures of the year as we move ahead. Not the case tonight, though. It's going to be chilly as we do peel away the clouds. Skies clear, overnight lows dipping down into the upper 30s and low 40s. That's where we're going to start the day. But notice waking up tomorrow morning, you've got the sunshine. And we hang on to the sunshine all throughout the day tomorrow as temperatures look to bump up by about 10 degrees for your afternoon highs statewide. That means upper 60s from Vernal to Price, mid 60s in Cedar City, and 70s in St. George. But as I mentioned, that high pressure will crank up the heat. We get into the 90s on Friday, mid 90s on Saturday. That feels like summer. Again, that weak front moving through Sunday, Monday will drop temperatures, but will keep you dry. Northern Utah, it's 60s to 70s to 80s. Warmest day of the year on Friday. Clouds Saturday with some winds, maybe a brief shower late Sunday, and then we'll drop temperatures back down into the 60s and 70s. So a nice trend with the temperatures, but getting a little bit out of comfort as we move into the weekend.
The Utah Jazz have had the best record in the NBA for a long time this season, but after last night's loss to Minnesota, Jazz are now 44-17, just one game ahead of the Phoenix Suns for the #1 spot in the Western Conference with 11 games to play in the regular season. Jazz have been without star Donovan Mitchell for the last 5 games. He's out with a sprained ankle, but the Jazz still lost 2 games in a row to the Timberwolves. They're the second worst team in the NBA. And over the last 12 games, the Jazz have played .500 basketball, winning just 6 of those 12 games. Teams are coming at the Jazz right now, giving them their best shot, trying to beat the top team in the NBA. Mike Conley says the Jazz have to fight back.
We have to combat that with the same type of physicality. We cannot just, take every punch and take every elbow, take every push, and look at the ref to bail us out. We have to stand up, stand our ground, be aggressive, be physical, and just kind of grind games out. This is that time of the year where Teams are going to be gunning for us regardless of their situation or our situation. Every night's going to be a dogfight, and we got to realize that from the time the jump ball starts to the last second of the fourth quarter. So just keep grinding.
Jazz play at the Sacramento Kings tomorrow night. Real Salt Lake will take a lot of momentum into their home opener this Saturday against Sporting Kansas City. RS will open up the season with a great result, pulling out a 2-1 road win at Minnesota on Saturday. And 2 new RSL players had big roles. Anderson Julio scored both goals, and Rubio Rubin assisted on both of them. Head coach Freddy Juarez says it's a team effort, but he liked how they all stayed mentally focused throughout the entire match.
What I loved about my team was the character, the mentality. It was top. It's top. Like in this league, it's so hard to go on the road and get a tie at that. And now we win and we're able to get a win. And it was all set on the mentality of the guys, the way we defended, the things that we worked on. They put a lot of pressure on us. We bent in moments, but didn't break. And Minnesota never took the foot off the pedal, and they kept coming, and we kept responding the right way. Maybe we could have been a little bit better in possession, a little bit sharper. But again, I thought the players made all the right decisions.
The BYU baseball team beat 26th-ranked Arizona State 8-5 this afternoon behind the bat of Cole Gamble. The junior from Lone Peak High School hit a pair of home runs. The first one put the Cougars up 5-0 in the second inning. The second one gave them a 6-1 lead in the fifth. He went 3 for 4, 4 RBIs. Head coach Mike Littlewood called it a marquee win for the Cougars. Way to go, BYU. We'll be right back.
I was looking at the temperature gauge on my car when I heard that it's going to be into the 80s this week.
Yeah, not today.
No, not today. But that's like almost a 40-degree difference from today.
I know. Cranking up the AC.
Can you believe that?
I can't wait for it.
None of us can.
I like it.
It will come a few days away. Have a great evening, everyone. See you back here tonight at 9.